Hey everyone, exciting news I have. I am sharing something very incredible with you all today. I am launching this new initiative that is going to revolutionize how you engage with the Hindu editorials for your UPSC preparation. So you have been struggling to figure out which points are important in this editorial, right? And you are tired of spending hours trying to understand the complex stories and the timelines. Well, you need to say goodbye to all those hassle. Right below, you will find a comprehensive mind map of the latest editorial that has been meticulously organized to highlight the key facts: introduction, unresolved issues, historical goals, debate. Then we have roles and key negotiations, definition, accountability, adaptation, and this bias, and then the conclusion as well. So this is comprehensive mind map. All right. This means you can focus on what truly matters and you can score higher marks in your exams. But wait, there's more. Revision has been made easy for you now. I have also created a condensed mind map which is focusing on the essential keywords. These are the revision keywords of this mind map. From the above mind map, there will be two mind maps. These are designed to help you recall the topic quickly and efficiently. Imagine preparing your notes in just 5 minutes from any editorial. Again, further, moving on, there's the best part. I am bringing this initiative to you in both English as well as Hindi language. Yes, there will be two separate videos. One video will focus completely on English. The mind map, the editorial will be in English. The mind map will be in English. Explanation will be in English. Revision keywords will be in English. There will be another video, second video, which will be completely in Hindi. So, the editorial was All Eyes on Baku and the Climate Finance Goal. The editorial in Hindi will be हिंदी में ही एक्सप्लेनेशन मिलेगा, हिंदी के सारे माइंड मैप होंगे, हिंदी का ही रिवीजन वाला माइंड मैप भी होने वाला है. इट इज गोइंग टू बी लाइक दैट ओनली. ओके, सो एवरीथिंग विल बी रिटन एंड स्पोकन इन हिंदी. यू विल गेट द पीडीएफ इन हिंदी टू. So I have been a bit absent from this YouTube channel, so I apologize for not responding to the YouTube comments and the Telegram messages. My schedule has been extremely hectic, but I have made some changes to dedicate more time to reconnecting with all of you. I am starting the Vision IS magazine videos as well. I'll be focusing from the September edition from now on. Plus, I'll be introducing the Hindi versions of these magazines also this time. So all the upcoming editorials will be very concise. You will be spending 10 to 15 minutes. So in this 10 to 15 minutes, you will have very valuable insight. You will have the structure of the editorial. You will not be missing any important point from this editorial. All the important points from this editorial will be covered. You will आप मैच करके देखना, आप एक बार एडिटोरियल पढ़ना, फिर आप ये माइंड मैप पढ़ना और आप रिवीजन कीवर्ड्स पढ़ना. यू विल बी सरप्राइज्ड. एवरीथिंग इज कवर्ड इन ए स्ट्रक्चर्ड मैनर फॉर यू. तो 10 से 15 मिनट में एक एडिटोरियल डन इन अ वंडरफुल मैनर. So the game has just got a whole lot easier for you. So time to dive deeper into this video and let me know what you think. I want your feedback on a personal Telegram chat. Okay, you know how to connect with me on Telegram. Below this video in the description, the Telegram channel's link is given. Connect with me on the personal chat. Tell me, give me your feedback on this. I promise I'll try to stay more consistent this time. I have promised this earlier but could not happen. But this time I have made changes in my overall schedule. I have cut off many things and I want to hear from you. I want to engage with you directly. Okay, so let's ace these exams together. And so far I have been very grateful to you for your continued support as well. Let's start the topic. Once again, I would like to welcome back each one of you in this channel where we have been making the toughest topics easy and exciting. So today we are tackling a subject that's not just crucial for exam but for your planet's future as well. The climate finance crisis are happening. Okay, so picture this thing here. Countries that have done the least to cause the climate change, they are suffering the most from its effects. All right, this sounds unfair, right? That's exactly what's happening with the developing countries. They are facing severe climate impacts that they didn't cause. Now you need to mark your calendar for November month. Okay, from 11th to 22nd, the world leaders, they are gathering in Baku. So the place Baku is in Azerbaijan. Okay, there COP209 is happening. So COP is Conference of Parties. 29th is happening. So this isn't just another conference. It's a pivotal moment where the new collective quantified goal. Okay, so we'll be talking about all these things. The new collective quantified goals. All right. So we are focusing on this point right now. The new collective quantified goals for the climate finance, they will be set. Now, this could redefine how we address the climate change globally. You might be wondering, why is this so important? Well, the Article 9 of the Paris Agreement makes it clear. Developed nations, they must provide the financial support to meet the needs and priorities of the developing countries. So this is about more than just money. It's about fairness, it's about justice and acknowledging the historical responsibilities. So to put this into perspective, according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that is IPCC, you must have heard this word earlier as well. The developing countries, they contribute less than 10%, developing countries, of the global greenhouse gas emissions, but they are the most vulnerable to its impacts. So this disparity, it underscores the urgent need for effective climate finance mechanisms. The NCQG thing that we have been talking so far, what is this NCQG thing? So let me focus on this NCQG a little bit more. It aims not just to replace the earlier one, the old one, that was the $100 billion goal, but it will significantly upscale it. It will recognize that trillions are needed to meet this agreement targets. Now, there have been some unresolved issues at COP29. We'll be looking at them, the developing countries' standpoint and the developed countries' approach. Let's dive deep into the drama that is unfolding at COP29. On one side, we have developing countries saying, hey, you broke it, so you fix it. So they insist that the developed nations should bear the financial responsibility. Now they are pushing for equity. They are emphasizing that the climate finance should come in the form of public funds. That is, what are public funds? Like the grants and the concessional loans. They're talking about all these things. On the other side, the developed countries, they are shaking things up by proposing to expand the contributor base. Now they want a more inclusive climate finance system. They are favoring outcome driven and flexible finance models. Okay, so these are good keywords. They aim at low emissions and resilience. Sounds good in theory, but is it really fair? So this tug of war isn't just political theatrics. It has real implications for the international relations and the principle of CBDR. You must have heard about CBDR, the common but differentiated responsibilities. UPSC has asked this near prelims exam earlier. So this is central to the environmental law. It's a clash between historical accountability and the modern economic realities. I want to add a little more to this thing because this point has become very, very important for your exam. So adding to this complexity, this debate will touch on the international equity and the UNFCCC principles. The developed nations, they argue for a pragmatic approach given the changing global economic landscape, while the developing nations, they fear a dilution of commitments. Let's move a little further on the historical climate finance goal. Let's throw it back to the year 2009. Okay, so in the year 2009, when the developed nations, they made a big promise. They said $100 billion per year by 2020 to help the developing countries fight the climate change. Now guess what? They missed the deadline and only hit the target in 2022. Now they talk about fashionably late. Okay, but here's the kicker. Experts, they now estimate that the developing countries, they need a whopping $5 to $6 trillion for this effective climate action. That's a trillion with a T. Okay, the gap between what's needed and what's provided is very, very huge. To make the matter worse, okay, most of its money comes as loans. It is not coming as a grant. Imagine that it is being handed a bill to fix a problem that you didn't cause. Like, you did not cause the problem, but you have to pay the bill for this. It is pushing the vulnerable nations deeper into the debt, which is a massive hurdle for sustainable development. And the poverty elevation. Now, sustainable development, poverty elevation, aren't these important keywords for your UPSC exam? If you have seen the syllabus, these keywords are mentioned over there, right? Moreover, according to the International Monetary Fund, there are many developing countries which are facing the debt distress, which is exacerbated by taking on more loans for the climate action. The situation raises ethical questions about the fairness and effectiveness of current climate finance. Let us try to understand that. Let's stir the pot even more. Switzerland and Canada. Okay, so these two countries, they are suggesting that the high income and the oil rich countries like China, Gulf states, they should chip in. Sounds fair, right? Well, developing countries are raising their eyebrows. They argue that expanding the contributor base could dilute accountability. It might shift the focus away from the nations historically responsible for most emission. Remember the principle of historical responsibility. It's a cornerstone for the climate negotiation. So this debate isn't just about money. It's about upholding the values of equity, holding the values of justice in the international law. So if we start moving the goalposts now, what does that mean for the future agreements? Furthermore, including countries like China, which is still classified as a developing nation. You need to remember this thing. China is classified as a developing nation under UNFCCC. It complicates the matter. So while China's emissions, they are high today, the per capita emissions and the historical contribution are still lower than many developed nations. So this nuance is essential for understanding the complexities of international climate policy. Here's another twist. There's a significant bias towards mitigation over adaptation. Let us try to understand this thing. You must have heard about the adaptation mitigation reports, right? So, in the simple terms, more money is going into projects that reduce the emissions. Okay. So, okay, let me make it a little more easier for you. Many vulnerable nations, the adaptation is a matter of survival. Okay, building the resilient infrastructure, developing the drought-resistant crops, and improving the disaster response systems. This all requires serious investment. And guess what? These projects, they aren't exactly profitable. So the private investors, they aren't lining up. And to top it off, the process to access the funds is like navigating a blind maze, which is blindfolded, but that too blindfolded, right? Complex application, bureaucratic hurdles, they are making it nearly impossible for those who need the funds to get them. So, comes another interesting thing. According to the UNEP, you know about this United Nations Environment Program, the adaptation cost in the developing countries could rise by $300 billion by the year 2030. This is a huge amount. Yet, the adaptation finance has accounted for only 25%. Can you see the difference? This imbalance, it highlights a critical gap. So the editorial is mainly focusing on climate finance goal. Do we have the money? No, we do not. Let's move a little further. We are moving towards the end of this topic slowly. So talking about the definition, because words matter, especially in the international agreements. The Standing Committee on Finance. Okay. So Standing Committee on Finance, it defines climate finance broadly, that covers emission reduction, vulnerability reduction, and the resilience building. But here's the problem. There is no clear mandate for the new and the incremental support. This means that the developed countries, they can shuffle the existing aid budgets around and label them as climate finance. This sounds very sneaky, right? Counting the private finance investment as part of the climate finance is another gray area. So while the private funds, they're essential, relying on them can let the developed nations off the hook, and it can skew the investments towards profit-making projects rather than those that are urgently needed. Okay, so let me give you a small example over here. Okay? So focus on a renewable energy project that yield the returns might overshadow the critical adaptation projects with very less financial appeal. Now, this would undermine the goals of sustainable and the inclusive development. This is a key area in an exam syllabus as well. Let us move towards the NCQG role and the key negotiations. Okay, let's circle back to NCQG, right? The goals and ambitions. Okay, so the goals and ambitions would be majorly about securing the finance, enabling the technology transfer, building capacity in the developing nation. Success here isn't just about hitting a number. It's about strengthening the multilateralism, building trust, and honoring the historical responsibilities. See, you need to understand the technology transfer is especially crucial. Without access to the advanced technology, the developing countries can't effectively implement the mitigation and the adaptation strategies. So capacity building, enhancing your capacity, it ensures that these nations they can manage the resources very efficiently. This will lead to the sustainable development. Now, again, I'm reminding this to you again. Sustainable development is a very important point from your syllabus point of view. Okay, let's move toward the conclusion part. So, this will be $1,000,000 question. Okay, that will COP29 be turning the point or just another talk shop for the developing countries? The outcome could mean the difference between building a sustainable future or facing the escalating climate disasters. So this isn't just a international news. It's directly relevant to your future roles as a policymaker, as an Indian administrative servant. Understanding these issues, they equip you to contribute meaningfully to the globally challenges. So remember, climate change isn't waiting, and neither should we. So this was the topic done. See, this was the editorial. These are the structured points you need to understand. We started from introduction, we reached to the conclusion. This was the body part. What were the unresolved issues? What are the historical goals? We looked at the debate. We looked at what is the biasness. We looked at the definition, some accountability, and some role and key negotiations. We have focused on all these points. Now, this comes as a revision keywords. Okay, like in the introduction, you talk about climate injustice. It's a keyword, right? Developing nations are affected. COP29 is happening in Baku 2024. Major focus will be NCQG for the climate finance. Article 9 Paris Agreement is talking about the financial support. So these are small keywords. They will help you recover this topic. Like for adaptation mitigation, financial imbalance means mitigation over the adaptation funding. Adaptation needs mean grant for resilience infrastructure. So these are the points that you actually write in your exam. These are the points that you don't have to write those long sentences. We have already covered and understood these points in these sentences. I have explained them to you. Now recall from this. Okay, so while you're revising, just try to focus. Okay, what was mitigation or adaptation funding? So if you're able to recall, good. If not, then just read this point. You'll get your answer. Then again, read another point. Okay, NCQG's role in key negotiation, success indicators, strengthen the multilateralism. Okay, so you know multilateralism, then that's fine. If not, then just read it from here quickly and you'll get your answer. Simple. You have the keywords, right? And you have the explanation. I have made it very easy for you. Revise and get done with this. Note down your notes from this if you want. If you do not want, just make a collection of these PDFs and revise in, okay, how much time you will take to revise this topic in one day? Less than 3 to 4 minutes. That's it. That's how you revise repeatedly. Those 3 to 4 minutes multiple revision will make it stronger for you. The foundation will be very strong. I'll be putting up another video for the Hindi students. All right. So stay curious, stay informed, and let's be the generation that makes a difference. So if you found the video very helpful, I would like this time I'm mentioning is you need to smash the like button. You need to share it with your friends who are preparing for UPSC and SSC. And I would also request you guys to subscribe to this channel this time. And until next time, keep pushing forward. Good luck. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.